Hi, and welcome back to the Able Trust video series, Building Organizational Capacity through the Catch a Fire platform. My name is Guinevere Crum, Senior Vice President at the Able Trust and host of this series. I have with me today Michelle Rubin of Autism After 21, an organization that is a new partner of the Able Trust with a sponsored membership for capacity building support on Catch a Fire. Catch a Fire is a skills-based volunteer platform that connects nonprofit organizations with professionals hoping to donate their skills and knowledge to make a difference. Welcome, Michelle.
Oh, thank you, Guinevere.
Yes, I'm glad you're here. Could you share a little bit about your background and about the mission of Autism After 21 for those that may not be familiar with you yet?
Sure. I started Autism After 21 10 years ago, really driven out of my personal frustrations as a mom with an adult on the autism spectrum. Um, I think I often joke that my family and friends got tired of me complaining about what wasn't available, the services that I thought he would benefit from. And at their urging, Autism After 21 was born. So we really focus on those transitioning young adults when they're leaving their school system or high school and considering post-secondary education, entering the workforce, even the beginnings of, oh, maybe I should volunteer somewhere. We offer all of those skills that help them, get to that. We kind of have a tagline that says we try to provide foundation for the future. And I really feel like that's what we give these young adults a chance to do.
That's super important. And that is one of the things that really attracted the Able Trust to your organization was that it has this grassroots feel of organization, but you're really professional in your approach in meeting needs. And so it's been really interesting to get to know you all better and
Yes.
extend this invitation to you all to be part of the Catch Fire platform and really grow your organization. And tell me a little bit about how you got started on the platform after you received that invitation. What were some of your first steps as an organization?
I'd never heard of Catch a Fire before as a volunteer platform. So when I received the invitation, I was so excited because it really came to us at the perfect time where we had been planning expansion. That expansion got disrupted by the COVID pandemic, like the rest of the world, I felt like. And Catch a Fire really was an impetus then to refocus on that. Well, we sort of had the time to do it. We'd had to pivot to virtual programming, but that left us with lots of time to think about where we needed to go and what we needed to do to get there. So my first attempt at doing a Catch a Fire project was I put out a call for strategic organization, that I wanted to speak to some professionals. And I had in my mind that I needed a little bit of a diverse perspective. So I scheduled calls with two professionals, one who was from a professional consulting firm, business consulting firm. And the second call was with a nonprofit manager in San Francisco. So, and I wanted to hear from, having worked in the business world before, I know that they function differently than the nonprofit world. So I really wanted to hear two perspectives because I think of Autism After 21 really as a social enterprise, but we have to function like a business to stay successful. So those two calls really put me on track to every other project that I've done since then. They um, verified what our plans were, how we were going to go about doing it, and that included lots of planning, bringing on new staff, looking at trends, what was really needed for these young adults. So those two strategic calls that I did as the first thing on Catch a Fire set the tone for all the coming projects that I've done since then.
Well, that's really great. And so the calls are where you started, and I know that you've jumped into some larger projects since then. Can you tell me a little bit about those?
We have, part of our expansion was developing a new program. And the new program includes another nonprofit as our collaborative partner. So I had a Catch a Fire volunteer, wonderful young man who's a professional consultant in Vancouver, helped me write a project management plan and a shared resource plan. So this plan is extremely detailed about who does what, where the shared responsibilities lies, what the deliverables are going to be, how are we going to measure our success of our students. So it gave us a roadmap of how to start this new project. and be able to monitor it as we're going. And I felt like having this professional tool really will give us the flexibility to develop the project and make changes as we go by being able to have a roadmap to follow. We're not just going to be kind of figuring it out as we go. We're going to be following some definitive steps. And it just put, when you're working with two staffs from two different organizations, it gave everybody the same thing, the same goals and same way, style of communication and how we're going to get there. So the project is launching in the next 2 weeks, which is really exciting. And it just gave us a firm footing to get started.
That's really great to hear. And really a collaboration like that is a real opportunity growth for your organization, and being able to have that tool is
Yes.
important.
We're
And
really excited. I told the volunteer that I was planning on using his outline of this project plan for all future new projects, that since he broke it down in such a fabulous way and gave us simple grids and charts that we can plug in our own information and our own contact and our own map forward for anything that we do. So it's really going to be a tool that we can use long term.
great, great. And what kind of tips do you have for your peers as they're navigating, managing the different projects on the platform?
Yeah, one thing I've discovered, that when I put out a call for a project, we always got great response. And there would be someone's bio that really called out to me for some reason about why they wanted to work with Autism After 21. We've developed really good communication with everybody that we've worked with, kind of finding the common ground, like, why did I want to work with you? Why did you want to work with me? And finding there was a connection there for some reason. Um, and that really made the projects fun. Like, I went into some of these projects, not knowing much about, like, some of the calls and work we've done in human resources. I have somebody working on a very complex business plan for us. These are areas I do not have a lot of personal experience. And these professionals really held my hand and have taught me how to do it. So it's been a great learning experience on both sides. We set up regular communication schedules via email and Zoom calls, and it's been really painless and flawless to work through. It's just been fabulous. And not even
Awesome.
to mention how much money it saves you in professional consulting fees that we in turn can spend on our programming instead.
Yes, and really critical as you're growing your programs to really be able to dive in there and deliver on services, but have the strength of the organization behind those programs, really solid. And
Yeah.
so we're really excited. So what's next for you all on the platform? I know you have a couple things in the hopper.
We do. I just mentioned that business plan, and the other part of our expansion was really wanting to up our professionalism a little bit. So I also had some graphic design projects done, which is an area that I'm really bad at, that they did for us. For example, just having professionally put together slide decks that you can use on PowerPoint, where they're beautifully designed. There's wonderful graphics using our logo, where all we have to do is type in the information and we can reuse those, and my staff can reuse those as many times as we need to. Think about how many times you sat down to try to put together a presentation and make it look nice. And when you're not good at those graphic skills, it can become quite challenging. So we did that. We had an infographic flyer design that we use in email to customers and to other groups we collaborate with. The business plan has been probably our most complex project that we've done yet. This gentleman is in Spain. So that's been really fun to work with somebody across the pond, as they say. But he has incredible professional experience and professionally works for Bentley Motorsports, which, and I happen to be a car person, so we've had plenty of side conversation about cars. Um, and what attracted me to him was he told me when I called him for our initial interview, is that during the pandemic, he was working with small businesses in his area to try help them stay afloat during the pandemic. So to me, that was, he's really doing this out of his heart, and he felt like offering his professional skills was the right thing to do, and I have emphasized to him how much on track he was with that. I can't imagine that these neighborhood businesses that he helped there, how grateful they are, because I know how grateful I feel for what he's doing for me. Hiring a consultant to write a business plan can be in the thousands of dollars. So he has done a great thing for my organization, and I've I've been very appreciative of all the volunteers. So next up for us, I'm looking at completely revamping staffing for our summer programs. We do a residential program, so working with 24 hours of required staff can be tricky, and how we do that. So I'm looking for a professional to help with that. I really want to spend some time diving into the Catch a Fire webinars that they have. I've done a few, but there's quite a few more that I want to look at that I just have spent some time browsing through the titles of some of those. And I just want people to realize that what you're getting is the same as if you went out and hired a professional consultant. That's how good the services are that I've received.
That's really wonderful to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the branding that you're talking about there is so essential, to be consistent and to
Yeah.
yourself consistently and your brand consistently is really a goal for all organizations. And so to really support your growth in that, it's really been a pleasure of the Able Trust.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Michelle, for your time today to share with others about how you're leveraging your capacity, building efforts through this Able Trust support. All of us here at the Able Trust are so excited to follow your growth of your organization and
Thank you.
excited for your ability to create impact for people with disabilities. So thank you so much for joining today and sharing with others about what you're up to.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Guinevere, and thank you to the Able Trust.
You're welcome.